Hey, welcome to the HODL review here exclusively on the chain. This is Jeff. Today we are going to be talking about cryptocurrency exchanges replacing banks, or is it the banks that want to replace the cryptocurrency exchanges? We got to talk about that one. And also, why shouldn't you run out, take out loans, and mortgage your home to buy more crypto? We're going to talk about all that and a lot more in a very short period of time. So let's go.
And now, the HODL review with Jeff on the chain.
All right, so the first thing that we're going to get into here, cryptocurrency exchanges, banks. What do they have to do with each other? Well, one of the primary themes that we talk a lot about is that the cryptocurrency exchanges have a good chance of replacing banks. Why? Because a lot of the cryptocurrency exchanges are offering many bank-like services. However, banks are trying to get into crypto. They're trying to replace the exchanges. There's a lot of tension. We can call this the cryptocurrency wars because essentially that's where we're headed. And the war is heating up as we speak. But right here, the Bitcoin banking battle heats up. This is right on CoinDesk. I think this is an interesting article. Kind of fits into the narrative. Kind of fits into the theme that we want to go over. But look at this. Banks are moving into crypto, and crypto companies are trying to become banks. So how does it all play out? Again, I like how, we're seeing the same, thought process, the same Q&A appearing on other platforms, not just something I invented myself. And that's really what we want to get into, because as things develop, as things heat up, we are seeing some regulatory clarity, some regulation loosening up how the digital asset exchanges are able to get banking charters. On the other hand, we've seen some congressional representatives that have done the exact opposite, and they're trying to make it more difficult for private entities to have digital assets or stable coins, and maybe they're going to put up some roadblocks when it comes to these digital asset exchanges trying to get into the banking space. But none other than Brian Brooks, he is the acting controller of the currency. But right here you have the chief economist of the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, a banking regulator within the U.S. Treasury, believes that issuing national bank charters to fintech shadow banks, how they spin it, could bring substantial advantages. And really what they're digging into here is that we're starting to see more and more of these fintech type solutions that are popping up, and they want to bank. They want to issue credit. They want to issue loans. And so just the fact that there's some conversation, and even now we saw Brian Brooks getting into more and more in-depth conversation when it comes to this. This wasn't necessarily Brian Brooks talking about this. Was somebody else. This was the chief economist. This was Calamuris. What's the first name? Let's see if we can find it in this article. Charles Calamuris is the chief economist. But here there was a paper titled Chartering the Fintech Future by Charles Calamuris, set out how stablecoin providers chartered as banks that do not rely on funding from deposits would themselves gain advantage from regulatory oversight. Yes, we want a little bit of that. But again, there's a little bit of tension because there's those in Congress that see things a little bit differently. They want to give all the power of the stablecoin to the banks, give them a full exclusivity over it. So now we're seeing a little bit of tension between the Office of the Comptroller and maybe some of the sitting congresswomen that maybe don't understand economics the way they probably should understand economics. So, I thought that this is kind of an interesting topic to kind of dwell on, to look at really some of the more finer points when it comes to this. I'm sure you guys have your own thought process. Is it going to be a digital asset exchange? Is it going to be a bank? Is one going to replace the other? Are they going to work in harmony and tandem? Is this regulatory clarity? Is there benefit to issuing bank charters to stablecoin providers? But again, while Rashida Tlaib and some of her cohorts are trying to do the exact opposite. So, my opinion, I like the idea that we're starting to see some of these digital asset exchanges and some of the fintechs getting into the banking space, maybe getting rid of a little bit of the fat because you don't need, they're a little bit top heavy as far as personnel. You don't need a lot of that. You can do also without some of the brick and mortar. Although it's nice to walk into an office and sit down with somebody, you don't always necessarily need it. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about why you shouldn't take out loans or a mortgage to buy more crypto. Now, here's something. Vitalik Buterin actually warned his followers not to take out personal loans to buy crypto. I think this is really a big stance. Why? Because here's an individual that a couple years ago was able to generate, look at his net worth, between $400 to $500 million in crypto. Now, that's massive. That was 2 years ago. I mean, this is some huge amounts of money made in the digital asset space. But look at here. You see, Buterin made a statement here that 7 years ago, before Ethereum even began, he had a few $1,000s of net worth, but he still had Bitcoin, and he ends up selling half of his Bitcoin to make sure that he wouldn't go broke if Bitcoin went to zero. So he was looking for a way to take money out. Now, he could have gone out and did the exact opposite. And I think this is really, what he's looking at, what he's concerned about when he goes out and talks to his Twitter followers to say, look, the crypto space is going a little crazy. Things are going up in value. A lot of changes. We were at all-time lows as far as since 2017, 2018. Lots and lots of new investors coming into the space. A lot that might not have actually participated in that gain period. So new to this whole experience and getting ready to go on the roller coaster. But the point being is don't take your one asset, which is your home that you live in, and mortgage it to the hilt in order to invest in a speculative investment. Yes, do we all believe in the digital asset space? Do we believe that digital assets are moving potentially at a fast pace? Maybe not. It might take 5 years. It might take 10 years. It might take 6 months or 12 months. It's hard to tell at this point. But what is very clear is you don't take your home and risk everything on that kind of speculative investment, because then it becomes more like gambling. You're basically crediting and extending your credit to a point that is dangerous, to yourself in the short term, mid-term, long term. What if that speculative investment doesn't turn out? Now you lose the speculative investment, plus you lose the home. Now, if you take out loans, the interest on those loans, if you're buying into a digital asset, again, if that digital asset goes to zero, then you're left with a big loan and nothing to show for it. So really tread very lightly. Know what you're doing. There are mechanisms in place when you can invest on margin and do all that stuff, but never risk more than you can afford to lose. I think that's a theme that we talk about a lot. I thought these, narratives are very poignant right now, especially with all the new people that are coming in. Lots to learn, lots to cover. Again, going back, digital asset exchanges are banks. Can they coexist? Is one going to replace the other? That was number one. Leave some comments below. Love to hear your feedback on that topic. And then also, would you go out and mortgage your house or take out a loan to buy more digital asset? If you look at Bitcoin right now, sitting at 19,000 and change, even, though all the big talkers are talking about, hey, it can go to 50,000, it could go 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, a million. I mean, there's all these different, comments out there. Now, if Bitcoin or XRP or any of the other digital assets drop back to an all-time low, does that make it okay to take out loans and to mortgage your property? I mean, that's a big risk tolerance. Again, it goes back to my original theme. I don't think that is the right course of action. Not a financial advisor. That's my opinion. Love to hear yours. Also note, we have another channel. Check the description below for a link to the other channel. When you go to that other channel, we stream 3 times a week. We stream Wednesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check that one out. Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. and Sunday, we have a great roundtable at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Love to see your comments. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and I'll check you out on the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.